Con here for Seconds Out with Frank Smith. DEC2 finished with Jordan Gill getting the victory over Michael Conlan. Not fancy to get the victory, but did it in emphatic fashion.
It's now DEC3, mate.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's 12:30, DEC3. Yeah, look, unbelievable performance from Jordan Gill. You know, we always knew that it was going to be a real fight. He was definitely the underdog in the fight, but he came here and he showed what he's all about and what a win for him. And you know, it's a life-changing win. And when you think where he's come from, you know, I think 4 or 5 years ago, they lost in Peterborough to where he is now. You know, like I say, it changes his life. So many more big nights to come to him, and fair play to him.
Starting with Mick, just a word on Mick. You know, he's got to consider his future going forward now after that fight. What do you think of Mick in terms of if he has a fight future left with that performance?
I mean, look, Mick's had a tremendous career, both amateur and professionally, and he's in a fortunate position that he's financially very secure. I think he's got a decision to make now, and that's a decision he'll make with his family over the coming weeks, I'm sure, as to what he wants to do, whether he wants to carry on, whether that's the end of the road. But like I say, whatever he chooses, he's done amazing things in the sport. So we'll have to see. But it was a tough night for him tonight. And, you know, it was a tough night against Lopez and, obviously a tough night in the Lee Wood fight as well when he had that. So he's been in hard fights over the last few years. But, yeah, I'm sure he'll make that decision. But whatever he decides to do, all respect to Michael Conlan because he's had an amazing career and done great things for the sport.
Was there a rematch clause for that fight? Could Mick, if he wanted to, get back with Jordan Gill?
I mean, look, there's potential to do that rematch. Something Jordan Gill mentioned in there, but I think first and foremost, it's got to be the focus on what he wants. You know, that can't drive what decision Michael makes. You know, he's going to make a decision based on the good of his, you know, what he thinks is best for himself.
Talk through the rest of the card, Frank.
Yeah, look, great. It was always going to be a great card. We spoke about it being a brilliant card. You know, Gyarko against Troy Williamson. Gyarko needed that step up in a fight like Williamson and a good win for him tonight. Lewis Crocker, brilliant performance, big puncher. He's got massive future here, I think. Tyrone McKenna, very tough man, you know, to go through the 10 rounds in there. Probably could have been stopped a bit earlier, possibly. Sean McComb, great win against Sam Maxwell as well. And Cameron Vong with the moonwalk. Lucky he didn't roll down that ring walk with that moonwalk. And then Leli, undefeated. Well, undefeated, obviously, because it was his debut. So it was 1-0 and a great start for him. But like I say, it was always going to be tough to follow up from Dublin last week. But, you know, I feel like great atmosphere in there tonight with some great fights.
There was some contention in regards to Kevin Ajaka and taking the fight with Troy Williamson. And, you know, he kind of said, like, look, he never rejected the fight there. But is it point proven and point made when Eddie was kind of saying, look, we're giving fighters fights and sometimes they're turning it down, that, you know, the matchmaking is the right type of fight for him? Because regardless of the contention, that was a good fight for Ajaka to come from, one that he needed.
It's exactly the fight he needed, especially if he wants to step up in 2024. That's the kind of test he needed. Williamson's been in there with some great fighters over the years. And, yeah, that's exactly what... Look, our job is obviously to deliver for the fighters in the right way, but we also know what we're doing. And we know when it's the time to take the right steps. So I'm sure he'll be happy that, you know, that fight happened tonight because it was a good win for him.
A couple of points outside this. Is it the case that Edgar Berlanga and Podger McCrory will be fighting each other?
Possibly. It's a fight we're looking at. It's not confirmed yet. It's not agreed, but that is definitely a fight we're looking at for early part of next year.
News on Munguia Ryder?
Maybe soon. Great fight if that can happen. You know, we saw Ryder against Canelo put in an unbelievable performance. Obviously, Munguia against Derevyanchenko was a great fight. So, you know, I think Ryder's got a great chance in that fight. So, hopefully some news soon on that one.
Liam Smith expresses interest in a fight with Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, that would be a brilliant fight. You know, Liam's obviously planning what's next for him. He's promotional free agent. We've had a great relationship over the years. And, yeah, that would be a massive fight in the sport.
Any further update on Conor Benn's situation? I know that there was talk of Eddie saying there's some legal situations going forward, but is there any update you can provide on that situation?
No, lots of back and forth going on in the background. Hopefully news soon. You know, we've spoken about it so much now that it's kind of stop talking about it. Not your fault, but stop talking about it until there's actually some news to say. But we're fully focused on making that fight in the UK.
Robert Smith was here. I just wonder, has it been difficult? Have the relationships frayed? You know, obviously you've got to work together to get fights sorted and things, but does what's happening in the background ever make the relationship a bit more difficult?
Look, we work on hundreds and thousands of things with a board we're the biggest promoter in the UK, the biggest global promoter of boxing. We're working with them daily on hundreds of things. So, you know, that's just one thing in the grand scheme of everything we're working from. So you have to sort of set aside differences on different things and focus on making sure the rest of the sport can run. But no conversation about it tonight. We were, like I say, focused on tonight's show.
Cheers, Frank. Appreciate it.